Hi guys, forgive the quality of this video. It's being filmed on my iPhone 5. We've cleared up over Christmas and I cannot find the camcorder, the charger, the batteries or anything else. So it's all stashed away somewhere. So if this video isn't quite up to the normal standards, then my apologies. Happy New Year to everybody, first of all. Thanks to all of the people that subscribe to my channel. It never ceases to amaze me that I think I've got around 500, 600 subscribers on the channel, which, as I say, is quite amazing, really. People just listening to me waffle on. So we're just going to start off the new year with something I've wanted to do for years and years and years, and that is to have a marine aquarium. Now this is the Kent Marine Nano. It's a 94 litre tank, and it was bought for me by Debbie for Christmas, and it comes with that stand as well, and I think it was $2.99 from our Northampton branch of Maidenhead Aquatics, who have been pretty helpful so far. So the full setup, tank and stand together, $2.99. I've had the tank set up for a few days, actually since Christmas Day, to be honest. But we've not had a chance to do anything with it, because obviously there's lots of other things that need to be in place first. Obviously you've got to have either a reverse osmosis and deionization system in place, or you have to buy the RO water and the salt water from the shop. I was going to buy a reverse osmosis DI system, but I was so impatient to get this up and running. We popped over to Maidenhead Aquatics yesterday and bought everything else we need for it. And I've got a spare 25 litres of salt water and 25 litres of RO water. So what do you get? Well, the tank itself is a complete setup, little inspection hatch there for feeding and water testing. I'm going to try and lift this lid up and show you what we've got. So behind this perspex or acrylic cover, you've got white LEDs and blue LEDs, and then you've got the T5 white, and I'm not sure which way around it is, but I think that is a T5 with white and blue. They call it ocean blue lighting. Now they are all on separate switches on the top, so you can have just the blue on, which simulates a sort of nighttime moon light effect, or you can turn on the white LEDs like that. And strangely, the white LEDs start the two fans off, and to be honest, the fans are too noisy in my opinion, and I'm going to swap those out for something hopefully that's far quieter than that. And on the other switch is all the T5s, the really bright ones, and that probably shows up all the things floating around in there. This was filled up yesterday, and it was obviously pretty cloudy to start. It's clearing quite nicely. I'll just turn those lights off because we're cycling this at the moment. I've been told that the light should stay off for these the next 4 to 6 weeks as this system cycles through the ammonia and, is it ammonia nitrate, or the other way around? It's pretty complicated, but anyway, so you've got 3 switches on the top. Ridiculous to have all of these switches on one mains cable, which is obviously run down the back. I don't know if you can see that or not, but there is again a modification where you can remove this cover. It just unscrews along the top and just down the bottom there, and you can take this cover off, modify the wiring, and then you will have 3 mains leads, one for each of the T5s and one for the LEDs, and then of course you can run them off of separate timers, which is really what you want to be doing. Now, everything is built into this tank. You have a plastic piece that runs the full width. I pull back a bit. So in this one we have got, whether you're going to be able to see this, it's probably a bit dark, but there's a heater in there. So that's sat there. In here you have the various filter media capped off with a black and then white sponge. In there is there's more ceramic filter, ceramic media at the bottom, and then this is a protein skimmer at the top. I'm probably going to have to get the torch to show you that on another day, but you have to set the water level correctly, and it looks a bit low at the moment, so I'm going to have to adjust that. And then this protein skimmer is producing bubbles that collects the protein and bubbles it up and into the container. Again, a bit dark, I'll have to do this with the torch. And then in this one, which you probably can't see at all, is the pump, which is pumping water out there and also down there at the bottom. Again, I was advised to have this one pointing up to the surface. The bottom one is, as you can see, just blowing out, and then we've got a little wave maker which you can hopefully see just there, which is blowing down onto the rocks. I've ordered another one of these, actually you can see that it's focusing on the reflection. Ordered another one of these for the other side. The live rock that's in here, we've got about 12 kilos, and there's lots of quite colourful things on it, if that will focus already. There's some algae growing on various bits which I've been told to take off. Yeah, you can see a few bits. So let me zoom in on that. Yeah, it's not going to focus. Let me see if I can zoom out again. Yeah, there we go. I've been told to take those bits off, but it's quite nice looking rock. Some quite nice colours in it. Plenty of things for the fish to swim through, eventually. This is, I bought a 10 kilo bag of Red Sea live sand, and I've used about 8 kilos of it. It does not go underneath the rocks. If you put the rocks on the sand, I think you can create dead spots, and also if you've got any things that like to burrow under the sand, they can get under the rocks, and the rocks can become unstable, and that's the last thing you want in this sort of thing. So yeah, the rocks on the glass first, and then sand in afterwards, which actually is quite tricky to get it in and looking kind of natural, especially through the hole and down the back. In fact, I'm probably going to adjust this because it's actually coming up. If I show you there, yeah, see, you can't see over the sand when you're sat on the sofa, so it probably needs to come down here like it is here, and same there, it comes up onto the glass, and it probably needs to come down a little bit. Having said that, I suppose if anything falls down and settles on that sand, it's going to have a tendency to go down and in towards the centre of the aquarium, like there, a bit of whatever that is in there. The cupboard just has a shelf in there, a few holes for various things if you want to put, well, I guess filters or whatever in there. That shelf lifts out. But strangely, there is a vibrating noise that's made worse when the door's shut. You won't be able to hear it on the camera, but if I pull the door open, the noise is much reduced. And if I put my fingers between the door and the cabinet, it doesn't make any difference whether it's like that or like this. So I'm going to have to investigate that. There also is a buzz from in here. It's quite loud, I don't know whether you can hear it. So I'm going to investigate what sort of power supply they've used there and probably change that out as well. The lights are accessed through here. There's a reflector, and the T5s here, you can pull those out for replacing them. Apparently they last around a year before they need to be replaced, and I think to the human eye you can't tell that the light output is reduced, but obviously the fish, the coral and everything else can tell, and they won't do so well. So even if they look as good as they were a year ago, you should change them. I know many people have fitted different lights, different LEDs, different strips of lights to this tank. There seems to be lots of modifications available for it, and even to the point where members of the various reef and marine fish forums say you should ditch all of the supplied mechanical and biological media and use different stuff. It's pretty confusing to a complete newcomer like me, so I've stuck with what Kent Marine supplied, and we'll just monitor things, and if things need to be changed or bits added to the filtration, we'll do that. I mean, quite honestly, I quite like the idea of an external filter. The Fluval G3, I think it is, and G6 seem very nice, pricey but quite nice. I don't like the idea of this all-in-one thing. The other problem is this being plastic, this back, it will get covered in various things that discolour it and perhaps don't look so good. And I have seen people that actually cut the silicone around these various chambers and remove this whole panel and just have it as a completely normal aquarium, and everything else is done externally. So yeah, I have got the salinity measured. That's on a refractometer. Let me just show you some of the bits we've got. You can buy an electronic tester, which is about 150 quid, but in the end I've settled for this refractometer, which is about £30. You put 3 or 4 drips of RO water or distilled water on here to calibrate it. You fold this down on the top, and there's an eyepiece that you look through at the end, and you can turn it to focus. You need to point this part at a very bright light source and calibrate the refractometer to say 0. There's basically a shaded blue area and then a clear area, and where the shaded blue reaches joins the clear area, that is the indicating mark. And under this there is a small screw head, and there's a screw driver in here. It's down the other end. And you just calibrate it to read 0. Clean all the water off, and then place 3 or 4 drops of salt water on it. And I believe the best or the acceptable range is 1.024. I've got 1.025, which I think is acceptable. The temperature of the tank is 74, and hang on a sec, I think around 74. I've used my rework station K-type thermocouple. This is a highly accurate one, and I'm looking for a 24 degree reading, and it's 23.9. It had been on 22 since I set this up last night. I think the adjustment markings on the heater are probably not very accurate. Again, I also don't think it's very helpful that the heater, although hidden away, normally you would see the heater in there, but because it's hidden away in that chamber there, I suspect that it's heating that water quite nicely, but it can only get around the rest of the system after it's gone through the filtration and been pumped out through the outlets there. So it probably takes fair while to come up to temperature. I've got a pH and I think it's pH, ammonia and temperature monitor coming from a company called Senai. I've read varying reports on the equipment, but I like it. It's a bit geeky. You can plug it into your laptop and it monitors those levels, and you can have email, text alerts if anything dramatically changes. I just thought it was a bit geeky, and I quite like the idea of some technology involved in this. I've got one of these floating cleaners. Again, this one is a bit too big, but that's all they had in stock. I like this one because it has a metal scraper and floats. So if you pull the outer part off, the actual bit inside the tank will float to the top. I really don't want to be sticking my arm in this any more than I have to, so anything that floats seems like a good idea. And I can't believe, I haven't read anything about sticking your hands and arm into the water, but I would think some grease ears and things come off of your skin, which probably aren't very helpful in a marine environment. So I'm thinking of other ways to reach down to pick things up rather than stick my arm down there. Obviously the most important thing with this is the quality of the water. It's got to be kept absolutely perfect and pristine, and all of the the levels have to be correct. Otherwise I think you're going to be in trouble from pretty early on. We've gone for this Marine Care test kit by Red Sea. Again, they seem to get a very good write-up, and Red Sea as a company, I believe, specialise purely in this type of thing. They're not doing other things as well. They are concentrating on what they do, which is marine care. The live sand, I don't know whether I mentioned earlier, is also by Red Sea, and this is testing for you can read them there. 100 tests for most of them, and we got 60 and then 55 tests, and it's just basically all of the chemicals and pots and bits and pieces you need to test the water. And I'm probably going to be testing this every day or every 2 days to start with. It's got to go through a cycle where the water's probably okay at the moment, and then it's going to get worse. Various levels will build up, and then go back down again as various things develop, things grow. It's a bit complicated, so if you're thinking of this, get out there and get some books and get on the reefing forums. The guys on there I found have been incredibly helpful, really friendly. I bought an ebook. I think it was it's one of the For Dummies series, and I think it was Marine Aquariums for Dummies, written by a very experienced marine biologist. It goes into masses of detail, and it's going to take me a few months to digest all of that. So that was it really. I just wanted to show everybody this new system. Hopefully it's going to keep me busy and nice and relaxed over the months, as long as nothing goes wrong. As I say, marine water is the key here to absolutely everything. There's some modifications I'm going to do. I don't like the buzzing, I don't like the fan noise, so I'm going to change these to be individually wired so I can have everyone on a timer. Pop new fans in. I'll have to pop the covers off, see exactly what's in there and find something that's very quiet. Obviously there's a buzz coming from whatever power supply they've fitted, again not acceptable. Don't mind the trickling water, that's really relaxing. And in fact, last night, even though it was cloudy, I seemed to find myself just staring at it all evening, even though the telly was on. So I think it's going to be absolutely fascinating over the coming months to see this develop. Obviously we're 6 weeks, 2 months away from introducing anything into it at all. You put a clean-up crew in first, I believe, which is just, you know, snails and a few bits and pieces that clean up all the algae and various bits and pieces from everything. And you know, perhaps a month after that you can introduce 1 or 2 fish. So you know, we're a good few months away from having anything swimming around in there, I think. But you know, there's no rush, absolutely no rush at all. I would hate to put anything in there and have it become sick or die. That's, you know, not what I'm doing this for. In fact, if I thought that was an issue, I think I'd just keep the tank as it is with nothing in it. So yeah, just a quick look at that. The only issue I really had was where the cables are supposed to clip on down the side. The clips, you know, like 2 fingers with a gap in the middle, and they really don't hold the cables very securely at all, so I'm not really too impressed with that. I'll probably change that. These are in segments and are adjustable. Obviously you can actually take these apart one by one and wiggle the joints apart. That is pushed onto a plastic fitting that then goes onto the plastic pipe from the pump. Again, that pulls off, and in fact it's quite easy to pull that straight off. I think there's been cases where that's just been sort of blown off all on its own, but not really a major problem. I'm sure it will be covered in all sorts of things growing on it soon enough. So yeah, as I said, another wave maker to come to fit on this side. And yeah, that's it really. We'll go from there. I'll be updating everybody on this on my forum, and obviously by YouTube videos, and you know, hopefully some newcomer, you know, like me might find this useful, and yeah, I'll update you all and catch you later.